If you haven't switched your car insurance company within the last 5 years, I can pretty well guarantee that you are overpaying for car insurance. Hey everyone, my name is Ben, and this channel is dedicated to personal finance. So if you're interested in learning how to earn more, spend less, and invest the difference, then be sure to subscribe. I have new videos every week. Have you ever wondered why companies like Geico and Allstate or State Farm, all of the big insurance companies always advertise that, hey, switch to our company and you can save an average of $500 per year? Well, how does that work exactly? How can they all claim that you can save money by switching to their company? That doesn't make sense. That has to be some kind of false advertising if literally any company can save you money by switching to them, right? Well, actually, probably it's true. You see, in the car insurance industry, there is very little brand loyalty. Once they have you as a customer, they're pretty well guaranteed to keep you as a customer for a very long time. So they don't need to offer you any substantial discounts in order to keep your business. I mean, think about it. When you try to shop around for insurance, it's not like a quick click of a button on the internet and you magically get your price quote. It's a process. It takes probably 15 minutes of filling out 50 or more different questions. How old are you? Are you married? Are you single? What's your driving record? What's your credit record? What year is your car? How many miles a year do you drive? Does it have anti-lock brakes, or does it have a safety, a car alarm system? Insurance companies know that it is a pain in the butt in order to get a quote. And so most people rarely, if ever, actually go and see what their competitors have to offer. So once they get your business, they pretty well know that they're going to keep your business for a very long time. And so they can keep on jacking up your rates year after year after year. And another reason that insurance is always so expensive when you stick with your same company is, let's just say that you went out and you bought a new car. And your car, let's just say you paid $30,000 for this car. So if you wrecked and totaled your car, your insurance company would have to pay out $30,000 to replace that car. But now let's fast forward 5 years into the future, and your payments have gone up each and every year, but your car is no longer worth $30,000. Statistically, in 5 years, the value of your car has dropped by about 60%, meaning your car is probably worth roughly $12,000, $13,000, somewhere in that area. So now if you get in a wreck, they only have to replace a $12,000 car, as opposed to previously it was a $30,000 car. So you should get a pretty massive discount, right? Because your car just isn't worth as much anymore. But we all know that's true. You don't get a discount as your car ages. And that's another reason why you should always switch every couple of years, is because when you switch, they're going to recalculate the new value of your car, and that's going to give you a lower quote. And so that brings up the obvious question of, if you should change your insurance company every couple of years, who should you go with? As mentioned, it is a pain in the butt to shop around for quotes. And unfortunately, there is not one company that is just universally cheaper. Some companies might be really cheap if you're a brand new driver, or if you have a very pristine record, or if you're an older person, or if you're married. You all fit into different categories. And different insurance companies, some are going to be really good, have really good rates if you fit into this one particular category, and maybe not so good of rates if you're in other categories. So because of this, this is the one time that I recommend using an outside agency to do quotes for you. I highly recommend going online and finding a car insurance broker that you can call up. That way you only have to provide your details once, and this individual works with hundreds of insurance companies from all over the nation, many of which you've probably never even heard of. But just because you haven't heard of them doesn't mean that they're not going to provide great service. In fact, some of these smaller companies might be able to provide you significantly cheaper car insurance because they don't have to spend the millions of dollars a year on advertising that the big players do. So now that we know that you should switch, what are some common questions that most people have when it comes to car insurance? And I think the first one is probably, do I have to wait? Maybe you just signed up with a new 6-month program Do you need to wait until that term ends, or can you immediately switch? And the good news is, unlike cell phone carriers and stuff like that, where you're locked into like a 1-year program or something like that, with car insurance, you can switch at any time. The only thing is, once you do get a new insurance quote from somebody and you go with that new company, be sure to call up your old company and cancel it. That way you're not paying double the insurance. And if you've prepaid, 5 or 6 months in advance with this old company, they will back pay you and they will send you a refund check for any unused time. So the next question I get a lot is, well, my insurance company offers a discount because I've been with them for such a long period of time. Isn't that worth sticking around with them so I can continue to get this discount? And it's true that some companies do give a little bit of a discount for long-term customers. But brand loyalty is very low. They pretty well know that they've got you. If you've been a customer with the same insurance carrier for 5, 10, or 20 years, what do you think the odds are that, you're going to leave this company? Once you've been with them for a certain amount of time, they pretty well know that they've got you for life. And so while they may offer you a discount, typically that discount is really more of a token discount, just to be something to say like, hey, we gave you a discount. When the reality is, it's such a trivial amount that it's not worth it. Instead, car insurance companies, they're always trying to grow and get new customers. And so if they are going to give a big discount, they're going to throw that at new customers to try to entice them to come over and use their product as opposed to their old insurance company. So the next question is, do I need full coverage or can I get by with liability only? And there is no one size fits all when it comes to this. But the first thing I'll say is, if you are currently financing or leasing your vehicle, if you're making monthly payments to your lender, then typically your lender is going to require you, as part of that contract that you signed, to have and maintain full coverage. They want to protect that asset until you have fully paid them back the money that you owe them. But if you own your car outright, then I think it comes down to, do you have a safety net? Do you have a nest egg? In a worst case scenario, if you wrecked your car, would you be able to replace that car on your own, or would you need an insurance company to replace it for you? Let's face it, a car insurance company is in the business to make money. Over the long run, they will collect much more money from you than they will ever pay you in claims. Therefore, if you have a big enough net worth, if you have a nest egg, if you have a safety cushion, and in a worst case scenario, you could, fix your car or repair it or whatever the case may be if you got in an accident, then chances are you probably want the bare minimum coverage. Because over the long run, like I said, paying this insurance company, you're paying them a lot and only going to get back a small amount when it comes time to actually file a claim. So costs vary, but liability coverage is usually less than half the cost of full insurance. Now, obviously, it's going to depend on the value of your car and all that, but currently, with my quotes, I would have to total my car about every 7 years to justify paying full coverage as opposed to the minimum coverage, the liability only. So I'm a pretty good driver, and I know that there's no way that every 7 years I'm going to total my car. So for me, it makes sense to go with the liability only insurance coverage. Next question is, how long do speeding tickets and accidents, how long do they stay on your driving record? Because that can cause a significant increase in your rates. And unfortunately, there is no universal answer for this. It's going to vary from state to state. In my state, that stuff stays on your record for 3 years. So if you've had a good driving record for the last couple of years and all of those tickets or accidents are about to fall off, it might be worth calling up and doing a price quote from a different insurance agency. The next question I get is, people say that I've heard that you get a discount, a policy discount once you turn age 25. And this is mostly true, but not necessarily. Generally speaking, when you are a newer driver, statistically you're at a much higher risk of getting into an accident. And then as you become more experienced with driving, you become more mature just as a person, your insurance rates tend to go down a little bit. Now 25 is a big number for a lot of insurance companies, but it's not a universal answer. And that's why I once again highly recommend going with an insurance broker, because he might be able to find you companies that give their big break at age 22 or 24 or whatever the case may be. The next question is, should I go with a 6-month policy or a 12-month policy? And given the option, you should always go with a 12-year policy. You see, it's when your policy renews that the insurance company has the ability to raise your rates. So by going with a 12-month period, you're locked in for that entire rate. Whereas if you went with a 6-month period, they were able to increase your rates halfway through the year, which means months 7 through 12, you're paying a slightly higher cost. So you should always try to lock in your rates for as long as you possibly can. Also, if you have a little bit of a savings and if you're able to pay your policy in full, whether that's 6 months or 12 months in advance, you typically get a discount for doing that, and it's usually right around a 10% discount. So if you can afford to pay for 12 months all in one big swoop, then I highly recommend doing that, as that'll save you a little bit of money in the long run. So car insurance is an area where less driving equals more savings. So let's just say that maybe you're a stay-at-home mom or dad, and so you don't really drive too many places, or you work from home, or your commute is very, very short. Let's just say you live just a couple of miles away. And so on a yearly basis, you don't put very many miles on your car. You want to make sure that you let your insurance company know this, because a lot of times they have pretty massive discounts, especially if you drive less than 10,000 miles per year. Next up is bundling. Just like it's always cheaper to get your cable, your cell phone, and internet all through the same company, same thing goes with insurance. So when you're shopping for insurance for your car, ask them if it will save you money by bundling other insurance policies. Maybe you own a home, so you're a homeowner's insurance or your renter's insurance. Maybe you have a boat or life insurance. Whatever kind of insurance you have, see if you can bundle that together to get an extra savings rate. And finally, look at the policy line by line. You see, there's a lot of different things that you're being charged for with your insurance policy. Do you need roadside assistance? Or what about if your car breaks down and they'll pay for a rental car while your old car is getting fixed? You know, if you're married and your spouse has a vehicle that in a worst case scenario you could use, or if you could get by with one vehicle for a short period of time, then you don't need to be paying these extra fees every month for items that you probably won't need. So at this point in my life, I shop around for car insurance quotes about every 2 or 3 years. But for a long time, I didn't switch car insurance companies. And when I finally did, I was able to save about 35%. I mean, that's a lot of money every month. I had the exact same coverage, the exact same everything, but I paid significantly less every month. So call an insurance broker and see what they've got available for you. So that's going to do it for us today, folks. If you do switch car insurance companies and you save some money, be sure to comment down below with how much it is that you're saving. And if you like videos like these, then be sure to subscribe. I have new videos every week. Thanks, and I'll see you all again real soon.